like grade 7, me and Dion, my best friend, we used to bike there from like my dad's house all the time, and we would always like go there and like bike. And like I recall seeing you and Jamie there one time, but like we never talked or anything.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely crossed paths a lot. Honestly, from biking, even at like Crankworks and stuff when we were younger and shit.
Yeah, for sure. And but like the first memory I really have of you was in high school, like the start of grade 8, when like September, like we're getting to know like everybody, because like everybody has like or came from different elementary schools, right? So like Poppy, like the high school we came from, there was probably like 5 or 6 like elementary schools around like where we live that like kids would come from. And like the main ones I feel like were like was mine, like Peterson Road, and then like you guys like North Otter. And I remember it was like September, like we had this like it was like all like the new kids like got to meet each other. They had like lunch and like whatever. And I remember like meeting Jamie, like your brother.
Yeah.
And then it was like a month after that, like he came up to me and Dion. We were in the hall and he's like, "Hey, like my brother's having like a high school party. Like, you guys want to come join?" And like, I was like super scared. I was like, "Oh, like these guys are so much older than us. Like they're like 16, 17 at the time." But like we went because like your birthday was in October, I think, right?
Yeah.
So
October 8th.
So yeah, I recall like going to your dad's house, and like it was like all new to me. I've never been around like older people at the time and stuff. And I just recall like there's this like huge fondue machine and like just like the best food, and like all you guys were wasted, and like I think like we had like a beer or two, like, but like I never really got drunk. And then I recall like I slept at your guys' house that night, and at your dad's house, you and Jamie had like the coolest rooms growing up. Like you guys had these beds that were like,
yeah, they were hung from the ceiling.
So like you guys would sleep up there, but then there was all this room on the floor. So like I remember sleeping on Jamie's floor, and then you coming up to me and like you literally like caressed me and you wouldn't let me go. You're like, "No, my baby." And like, you were like holding me. And I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" It was like, okay. So like, finally, these are like how these brothers are. And it's just like, nothing's changed in that fact. Like you guys have just always been like that, like open to people and like open arms and stuff.
Yeah. Forget how touchy we are.
Yeah, dude. Like,
sometimes. Cause like even with cause we had our step brother Nick, he had been living there too, so like we were the same with him. Like we would like, "Dude, we're watching movies tonight," and we would like make him go in the middle, and me and Jamie would basically like cuddle him.
And he's like, "Dude,"
all night. He's like, "Get the fuck off of me."
Yeah.
I mean, we're just pretty touchy family, but yeah.
So like throughout high school and stuff, we all became a lot closer. Like I went to school with your brother, and dude, like your house was that one house we would always go to skip school and like make food and just like hang out. And like it was always that like open house to us.
And like, yeah, the other thing that's coming to mind right now too is how like none of our age differences ever mattered. Like there was there was other households that I would go to, and like the older brothers would be like, "No, fuck you guys," and like it was very separated. And if they were like a couple grades apart, they wouldn't hang out, or they would think it's weird at our house because like everybody would hang out. I was like, "Man, I don't fucking care who it is or how old you are. We would always just like, everyone would just chill."
Yeah, no, totally. That was like a good feeling too, because I feel like I didn't really like vibe with like the kids my age. Like there was like only like I probably count on one hand like the actual like friends I like really had that like were in my age group. And that was like a big thing, like getting out of high school. Like all my friends are older than me. I only have like 2 friends right now that are my age. Like they're mostly all older than me, and like it just feels normal.
Yeah,
it's not like it's like.
Yeah, you just realize how much it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, totally.
I think it was, I don't know, there was definitely a lot of stuff like that. I think it was cool. I mean, even me, like I have a lot of older friends from that too, like Josh and other people. And that was kind of like the crazy part too. It wasn't just like me who was older than you. There was like my friends who were like the same. So they're like 2,
but like older too. And like so we still would all party and like it would just be fine.
Yeah. So then like some of the people are actually like 4 or 5 years older than you. So it was always, it was
I definitely felt pretty cool like going to those parties. I was like, yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah, man, we had a lot of like,
dude, a lot of memories growing up.
Yeah, I don't know, like just skipping school and going there and literally doing whatever. And I don't know. I mean, Dwayne didn't necessarily like it. Dwayne's my dad, but
Dwayne didn't really like me a lot when I was younger because I was pretty like, I would like smoke cigarettes at your dad's house and like throw butts on the ground, and like he would like find that, and like obviously like me at that age, like I don't think I'm like whatever, like why is he such a fucking asshole? But like I look back and like if that was my house, I totally understand where he comes from.
But
like,
yeah, I think the same thing too. Though is like when we would have parties, like he never wanted us to have parties, but well, obviously, but
did.
We would always have them, and you weren't the only person who smoked.
No,
so. But it was like literally impossible to clean up fucking all these cigarette butts. Like you always gonna miss one. So like every time there would be any, he's like fucking Austin. And it's like
I always get to blame. Like, I was just that easy target. Like, oh, it was Austin.
It's just because he's the only one that he knows. Like when he doesn't know there's like 50 to 100 people at his house, like obviously he's gonna blame it.
Man, I totally forgot like how many people would be at your guys' house and like the parties, and like you guys would just pay someone to clean it the next day. Like,
oh yeah,
poor Dwayne, man. Like our parents just go through so fucking much. Like just dealing with that through high school, but like it's a good thing because like I'm like there's no memory that I would ever like want out of my life. Like I'm so happy we like had those stages in our lives, because like I just look back and I'm like, man, like thankfully like I've outgrown a lot of like bad habits and stuff, but like there's no like bad time I look back at. Like it was all like just great memories. Like we laugh at, like we still laugh to this day about like
oh yeah,
all the dumb stuff that we used to do.